Good afternoon. Welcome everyone to the Spokes of Hope Worldwide Staff Seminar. I am Leanne Frayne, and today I will be hosting the seminar on how to be an effective manager. We have invited staff from our satellite offices to gather and discuss their challenges and share expertise. I especially want to welcome our newly hired managers. Let's get started. I think everyone at one time or another has had a boss that was less than favorable. In this seminar, I want to acquaint you with the different functions of management and cover the different styles of management. There are 5 major functions of management. Number 1, planning. This function of management decides what needs to happen in the future and generate a plan for action. It is forecasting or predicting development of what the future should result. Example of this management task or activity is developing a marketing plan. Number 2, organizing. Using employee relationships and resources to its fullest potential to be successful in carrying out the plan. Organizing usually follows the planning stage. This function may include assignment of tasks and breaking tasks into departments. An example of this function would be assignment of authority and allocating resources. Number 3, this function analyzes what resources are needed for certain jobs and hiring the necessary skills to fulfill these jobs. This function also can coordinate training to keep skills current. Also important to the staffing function is training and development of personnel, performance appraisals, promotions, and transfers. An example of this function or task is recruiting the personnel needed for or of an organization. Number 4, leading. Management with this function decides what tasks needs to get done and getting people to do them. They oversee the work of their subordinates. A manager who leads by example, sound work ethics makes them approachable and encourages a positive workplace. And number 5, this function of management reassures that the current outcomes are in the forecast and makes changes if necessary to meet goals. Changes could involve remedial actions if goals are not met. An example is a manager that identifies and addresses problems and coming up with new standards. Let's move on to the 3 styles of management. Number 1, directing. This style promotes learning through doing. Managers tell employees what to do, how to do it, and when it needs to be done. Verbal or written instructions are usually given to employees. Changes are pointed out by the manager and are shown what needs to be done to improve processes or outcomes. Decisions made by workers are made by understanding the process that the manager follows. Some weaknesses of this management style is when directions are not clear or specific, processes and outcomes may be poorly organized, confusing, overwhelming, or frustrating to the employees. Respect must be given at all times to avoid defensive attitudes. This style of management may make leaders seem bossy, controlling, or abusive. People may feel bullied or resentful. The style will not work if the subordinates are more knowledgeable than the leader. Here is an example scenario of this style of management. A catering business gets an order for a huge party for that same evening. You might consider this style of management in order to meet your caterer order delivery time. This style focuses on getting the task done instead of on the employees. This style of management is effective when there is a crisis or when deviations are risky. The second management style is delegating. Promotes learning through empowerment. Employees work individually or in groups. Managers should pose a question with minimal coaching. Employees will benefit most by doing, establishing goals, implementing plans, and working through issues. Recognition is given to employees who work well independently. Weaknesses of this style is if the employee is not experienced or lacks proper training, the style is not effective. Some employees have difficulty motivating themselves or setting deadlines without supervision, and deadlines can be missed. This management style is effective when the leader is credible and when clear directions are given. An example is if the operating cost of a manufacturing company is too high for what they're producing, the production department leads are given the task to come up with ways to cut costs in their daily operations. The manager gives them a deadline of 15 days to come up with recommendations. Third management style is discussing. Discussing promotes learning through interaction. Managers encourage critical thinking and discussion, facilitating the discussion until a logical resolution is achieved. Managers will ask challenging questions and listen to employees' comments backed up with facts and data. Managers encourage employees to self-examine what, why, and how they can improve results. Decisions are made after working together to define and solve problems, offer their ideas, and talk about the pros and cons. The weaknesses for this style is when managers are impatient and dominate the conversation, or if they allow just a few people to dominate the conversation. They will miss out on getting everyone's input. Managers may not seek broad participation. If a group does not have the necessary experience, expertise, or information, results may not be optimal since they will not be contributing strong decisions to the process. An example of this style and how effective it can be is when you have experienced employees working together in a steady environment. Google uses a teamwork approach for their projects, where they are broken into groups and encouraged to spend time on projects that interest them. They work on ideas that have no specific budget, and an example of successful project that emerged from this style of management is Gmail. Thank you all for attending today's seminar. I hope you found it interesting and informative. If there are no more questions, I hope everyone has a great evening. Thank you.